So Scott Pruitt has only been gone from the EPA for a few days longer than one full week, and already his acting replacement, Andrew Wheeler, has been meeting with industry officials and former members of industry itself, fossil fuel companies, chemical companies, automobile manufacturers, who are actively influencing his policy after only being on the job for 1 week. We know right now that so far they have actually appointed 2 people. One, a former lawyer from Dow DuPont, 2 companies that have poisoned countless people all around the globe. And 2, one of the other advisors is the former environmental guy from Ford Motor Company, after they spent so much time trying to lobby for the government to not enact stricter fuel standards. Those are the 2 people right now who are currently advising Andrew Wheeler, and he's also been in several other meetings with members from the fossil fuel industry and other representatives from the chemical industries. If that doesn't scare you, let me ask you this. When was the last time you took a breath? When was the last time you put water in your body? When was the last time you did anything that a human being has to do to survive? Because the people that Wheeler has surrounded himself with, even though they're supposed to be approved by the Senate, but they haven't gotten around to being approved yet, but they're still on the job, everything that human beings need to survive is threatened with these people that Trump has put in charge of the EPA, both Scott Pruitt and now Andrew Wheeler after him. And I had said this for months, that Scott Pruitt, one, he would never get fired from the EPA. They would never force him out. And though there have been some reports saying Donald Trump was ready for him to go, Pruitt himself made the decision to resign. But it wasn't because of his environmental policies. Republicans allowed Scott Pruitt to stay in office 12 months after the first scandal involving him broke that would have taken any other government official off the job that day. They let him stay there because they agreed with what he was doing. They liked the fact that he was destroying the environment and giving their corporate donors everything they've ever wanted. And back then I said if Scott Pruitt ever did leave, whoever replaced him, because at the time didn't know if it would be Wheeler, whoever replaced him would be just as bad on policy. And guess what? We're only 1 week in and we've already confirmed that. Here's the bigger problem. The media loves a good scandal, right? That's why they actually talked about Scott Pruitt. They didn't spend too much time talking about how he wants to repeal the Clean Air Act and Clean Water Act and the Clean Air Rule that Obama put in place. No. They didn't talk about that stuff. They talked about the scandals, the tactical pants that he spent thousands of dollars on, the used Trump hotel mattress, all of that. My concern here is that if Andrew Wheeler doesn't get involved in any scandals and doesn't do anything stupid, they will not cover the environmental destruction that is going to come out of this office. And we actually know that for a fact. Why? Because they didn't do it during Obama, even though, yes, it did happen. They didn't do it under Bush. The corporate media doesn't talk about climate change and environmental protection. They just don't. Media Matters has actually done a phenomenal job of keeping track each year of how much time networks spend talking about climate change and the environment, and it is as close to zero as you can get. Wheeler is going to have free rein to destroy the environment on behalf of corporations, which he's already meeting with, and the media is not going to say a word because they don't think that environmental stories, stories about the water we drink and the air we breathe, they're not sexy enough to sell to advertisers. So the same thing that's been happening for more than a decade is going to continue to happen. We're going to have EPA administrator destroying the environment, Republicans out there lying to us about climate change, helping their donors pollute this country a little bit more, and the media is going to remain completely silent.